Hey guys, this is Evan. Quick update on this greenhouse. It's a recycled window greenhouse that I made last year, last growing season. And just want to do a quick update and maybe like share any challenges that I'm having and things like that. So let's go in. I'm actually looking out the door here. This is an on-house greenhouse. And again, this is all recycled windows. Everything has been going really great. Last winter, the coldest it got in here was around 26 degrees, which is a little bit cooler, a little colder than I want it to be. I'm okay with 32 degrees and maybe a little bit colder than that, but not much colder because going for a warmer Mediterranean kind of climate, and there are a few plants like this bougainvillea that got severely killed back, but now it's going crazy. And it's probably going to go all the way up, and I'll have it go over. But yeah, so this was 26 degrees without any intervention. So I use this subterranean heating and cooling system, which I explained a little bit more about last time. But the quick gist of it is that this chamber here, this is a very low-powered fan, which I really need to paint this because a lot of, that duct tape is just kind of weird. But it's a low-powered duct booster fan right here, which is really like nothing. Like we saw absolutely no change in our electric bill, which is pretty awesome. It's on a dual automatic thermostat to kick on when it gets too cold or too hot in here. So pretty much this thing sucks in the warmest air at the top here. That's why it's so tall. And blasts it down into the ground into a series of tubes that are buried deep in the ground, about 4.5 feet deep are the deepest ones, and then they gradually get more shallow from there. A whole bunch of them, and they all connect and come out at the exhaust over here, and you could see it blowing a little bit. That's why the leaves are blowing. But nice cool air right now because, of course, subterranean down beneath the frost level or the surface level, it's cooler. So in the summer, that really helps me out. And I'll get to the summer temperatures in a second. But in the winter, same deal. Colorado gets awesome sun, really hot sun. So it comes in the winter and makes this room really warm in the middle of a winter day. And I don't even want it to be like that warm in here. I want to regulate the temperature. So this thing will kick on at let's say, like 60 or 65, something like that. And it starts, or maybe even 70, because it gets really warm in here in the winter. So during the day, so it sucks that in, and it warms up the ground zone, the earth zone in there, so it kind of borrows that energy. All the while during the day, it's of course it's blowing out cooler air because it's cooler in there, but it's also that thermal heat is being stored in that thermal mass of the soil, which is some of the best thermal mass there is. Because it's nice and moist and hydrogen, water, but high hydrogen levels just make a great thermal conductor. And so then at night, say it plunges below zero outside, it'll kick off again, let's say at about 40 degrees, and it does the same thing, repeat. It sucks in the now cold air, and warmer air comes out of there. So it's a really neat system. It just borrows the energy. Really neat. Like, this has been working really well. I think the inventors of this technology have been consulting with huge greenhouse operations, and they've been saving large operations like $20,000 a month in heating their tomato greenhouses and things like that, and whatever have you. So it's been really good. It's not as efficient as it could have been because, as you can see, I also have a slab here. Otherwise, I would have had the tubing, I would have had it over here, and the tubing would have went all the way through, all in here. So I would have been able to do like double, almost triple the amount of tubing. That's okay. It's still, I'd say it's about half efficiency, but it helps, and I'll take anything that helps to take the edge off. So next winter, I'll probably run an oil-filled radiator heater, which are very effective and very safe. I will also run that as like an emergency backup on a thermostat that kicks it off at, say, 30 degrees or something like that. So that'll take care of the coldest temperatures. But really, I don't expect that to be that often. So that's the winter. And then the summer, as you can imagine, it does get very hot. Ventilation and cooling in the summer is just as important as heat in the winter. I constructed this window here and another window there, which is at the highest points. As you can see, you have this angle the highest point of the greenhouse. So that means all the most heat just rises right there, and I have that nice cross ventilation, which is really great. So that's a really good start. And then I also have this screen door that I keep wide open here, you know, with the screen, of course. So I do have some airflow. It helps a lot. It still gets like over 100 in here once in a while because it's hot, you know, with that sun. So the heating and cooling system definitely also helps take the edge off. But again, you know, maybe next summer I will invest in like a cheaper portable evaporative cooler because I'm in the West where it's really dry, and that would be very effective. And again, only on the absolute hottest days. And this is only, let's say, late May until the end of July. And this is the end of July right now. I have trees there, so the sun will start to you know, be blocked by the trees, and I'll have almost too much shade in here. Also, what's been getting me through these hot days, even if it goes like 110, which it really doesn't, but even if it gets that hot, the plants will be okay as long as you know, as you can see, it's kind of wet in here. Even the floor is really wet. I come in the morning and I water. I kind of just wet everything down, and I lightly water the plants at the root zones and, you know, in their containers, and also just wet everything, and that really gets these plants through the day just fine with flying colors. Very happy, very healthy plants. I use that compost as I've talked about before. I will never fertilize with a fertilizing product ever again. I don't need to because I produce compost. That'll be another video. So I just add compost to the tops of the soil line in a plant, and it just works perfectly. I top dress. That means that every time I water, just a little bit of that, the nutrient content just trickles down. And also there's some earthworms in these pots, so they come up. Even if it's like rich manure, like you will not kill the plant as long as you don't mix it in. You could let it do it nature's way, which is just for it to be watered in slowly. The earthworms come up and feed on that rich stuff and then bring it back down, and they release it at the root zone, which is not harmful to plants. It's like the best thing for the plants because it goes through the worm's intestinal tract, which as many of you know is like the best thing for plants. So great system, great healthy plants, everything's great. Maybe just a quick plant tour here is just so I have the bougainvillea that's about to go into another blossoming, which is great. I got some pomegranate, a little fig. I have tons of figs here because I cannot grow figs otherwise in this climate. So I love figs, and a couple of I have this hibiscus here, which is blooming for you. Greek basil, lemon, and here's an in-ground. I put it in the ground. Mandarin orange tree. This is Owari Satsuma, which can go down to almost like 15 degrees, which is why I put it in the ground boldly. Just did it. So I can't wait to see what that does. There's some aloe vera in the ground, which, you know, it's kind of chancy, but that's okay. More citrus. And here's a guava that has just finished blooming. Should be getting some fruits on it. It's a Ruby Supreme, it's called. I have a kiwi grown up there. That should be really fun. And tons of figs. Lots of big figs here. Some parsley growing in the ground. I love having ground to grow in. As you can see, I did not put flooring in that area, obviously, so I can do the system, but that's a huge mistake that a lot of people do. You know, when they plan out a greenhouse, they plan out a flooring. Why? There's actually no reason for it. You might as well just plant directly into the ground, which has so many benefits on its own, which I won't get into now, but much healthier for the plants. And then you benefit off of that thermal mass and that heat and the ability to retain moisture better. There's some in-ground rosemary, of course, in-ground thyme, ice plant. Here's a little in-ground hibiscus, again chancy, but it was an extra one. Got an olive, and here's another hibiscus. This is from seed. This is the Jamaica hibiscus that they use for beverages in Mexico and West Indies. More figs, and they're pretty loaded with figs. This one has about 40 figs on it. Yeah, that's another pomegranate, which I'm planning to get. It's in ground and it's going to get really big, and it's probably just going to engulf this thing, which is great. It'll look better that way. White sage, olive, and then this is my table that I've been using for starting seeds and such. So kind of a mess right now, and you know, many times I have like containers all over here with seeds sprouting. I think, you know, that's how I started my seeds, and this greenhouse has been great for it. So here's just a few more stragglers from that. And here's some in-ground mandevilla that was just blooming. It's kind of slowing down now. another in-ground aloe vera, and I'm waiting. I'm probably going to put a Fuyu persimmon or something in there to really grow up in this corner here. Here's the conversion that I did on a rain. One of the last things I want to do here is create a rain gutter, a gutter system and a rain collection system that's going to collect in here. But for now, I just fill it up with the hose, and I even have a drip system that I can use here that's hooked up to, because I converted that. And then here are the heat, the thermal mass barrels. They're black, so like in the winter, I'll uncover this from the plants a little more, and this will store that heat as the sun hits it. So that's also another little trick that helps me out in the winter. And I believe that is it. Also, just for you fig lovers, maybe, I'll name them. That's a Sweet George at the side. This is a Mercedes Black VS. This is a Hadulis F White from Queens, New York. This is from my father in New York. This is also an unnamed variety from Levittown, New York, on Long Island. So that's where I grew up. And then this is Negra Black, or Black Negra. And there's some more outside, including JH Adriatic and things like that. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the little tour. This recycled greenhouse project has been really great, pretty low budget, and it's been really, really effective. You know, no strong complaints overall. You can check out some of my other videos explaining the construction. Feel free to ask some questions if you have them. Thanks a lot.